Get on the train before it leaves the station. The truth train is coming, gonna run them down, run them down.
Hello there, folks. All right, we're here today to talk about Brendan Dassey. All right. Travis has just brought to my attention some articles that are coming out today, where Sean Rech, the maker and filmer or producer and everything for Convicting a Murderer, is running around telling news outlets that he got Brendan to confess. So I'm going to show you guys the article right now, and we're going to look at his words, and we're going to look at what we know of Brendan, because we've all been studying him and studying what happened to him, right? And we'll see if we'll just kind of take a little bit of a look at it. I believe that whatever Sean Rech did, they obviously must have done very similar to what was done to Brendan in the first place to get him to confess, because otherwise he told one story very consistently. It was only stories he told when he was told to stop lying and all that sort of. It's only those stories were the ones that changed and didn't match up, because those were the ones he was making up because he was trying to please investigators. So this is gonna be very interesting, obviously, to watch coming out. I mean, obviously this was gonna be done because it says it's on a call, it's on a phone call, so that means that this can be FOIA'd, and we can find out exactly how they talked to Brendan, what they said to Brendan, and if they basically conducted themselves just like the investigators in this case. If so, I would say Sean Rech could probably kiss his chances of his documentary ever seeing the light of day goodbye. I just think if he took it upon himself, after all of this, after everything in this case, after everything with Brendan, that he walked back in there and did exactly what the investigators did and victimized what is still essentially a 16-year-old kid, then he is a monster. And I can't imagine there's going to be very much interest in his movie, personally. All right? I'm going to show you a little bit of the article right here. Here we go. Okay, this is from USA Today, and this is the words of Sean Rech. We set up a prison call to challenge Dassey and tried to debunk his statements. And rather than support his statements, he abandoned them and confessed, Rech said. Well, it sounds to me like you called to challenge Dassey. Have you not been reading all of the documentation that's been coming out, the under the hood assessment of it by a professor at the Wisconsin School of Law, and the speech language pathologist that explained how horrendous this confession was and the tactics used, and you went and used similar tactics, challenging Brendan and everything, and what do you know? He did just like he did every other time. And I definitely want to hear this, because I want to hear what the film crew was saying to Dassey, and I want to hear exactly how it went, because I have a feeling I've already seen it before. You know what I mean? I think I've already seen it before, and I think Sean Rech knows that too, and I'll show you that in a second why. He says production began on the follow-up series 20 months ago, and the film crew has been in contact with Dassey for 18 months. The confession has not been verified by law enforcement. So, we go down here. Reich isn't sure the confession will hold up, and he reiterated that they are still investigating it. Okay. That to me shows me that Sean Rech has doubts about it. Because honestly, if they were just chatting with Brendan and then he all of a sudden just starts blurting out a confession, then that would be one thing. But the fact that even Sean Rech is questioning whether or not it will be held up means even he is wondering if they, the methods they use, were wrong. I mean, if they essentially did all the things that the dissenting judges in the en banc hearing, pointed out in Brendan's case, if they did those things, then in my mind, have not a leg to stand on. And like I said, if they did do this to Brendan, if they did walk in and victimize him yet again in a way that's proven to be known to work on him, and if him and his film crew in fact did that, I doubt, even though I want to see it, I doubt that his film is ever going to see the light of day. I personally think he may be shooting himself in the foot in that sense. I don't believe Brendan confessed to him. I certainly want to see all of this. What is he talking about? I want to try to FOIA the prison calls where this took place, because I definitely want to hear all of this. I just feel like that Sean Rech is doing everything he can right now to create sensation, because he's desperate to get picked up. And to me, that smacks of a press conference. All right, moving on. So there you have it. He's been going around telling people. Sean Rech has been going around telling people that Brendan confessed to him. Oh boy, you better have some proof. You better have something to back it up. And he's right now is claiming, they're still investigating it, so he can't give us anything or details apparently. Anyways, it's like I said, from what I can tell, and by his own doubting of it being held up, I believe they probably stepped over the line and did some very similar things that the investigators did, and got Brendan to do something he's known to do. And that's not very convincing of anything to me. So, yeah, anyways, it's going to be interesting. I'm sure we are all going to get our hands on these calls, and we're going to be able to listen. I'm sure we'll get part of it in Sean Rech's little movie, if it ever sees the light of day. I'm sure we'll get bits of it there. But like I said, being on a prison phone, it should be able to be, you should be able to FOIA it. So I am extremely interested to hear just how far Mr. Rech and his film crew went to get this. Because this feels like desperation. This smacks of desperation. Like his movie, his movie wasn't going quite as well as he thought, and he wasn't getting all that proof that the state has been dealing on the up and up. It wasn't coming together the way he originally thought. So he thought maybe we can get Brendan to confess again, to create some sensational buzz, basically. I don't buy it. And when it comes down to it, they clearly said they challenged Brendan, and we all know what history has told us about what happens when Brendan gets challenged, right? We all know. I mean, we've all been. When he gets challenged, he buckles. The control question, just one of many examples, right? Okay. So, one other concern I have, though, is King Kratz. Knowing that he's been having contact with convicting a murderer, for instance, when he did the little talk with AC Rookie, and that sort of stuff. And I got a feeling, obviously, convicting a murderer is going to be a lot of regurgitation of Ken's book and Michael Griesbach's books, right? And what I'm kind of intrigued is knowing that Ken has been talking to these guys, like 20 months they've been making this, right? So that's well before Brendan's stuff was done. We know Ken Kratz was sending that email to Fallon talking about lessening Brendan's sentence. Like, was Sean Rech talking to Ken Kratz about this? About the way they were getting Brendan to, they were challenging, we'll use their word, challenging Brendan to confess, into confessing, however you want to look at it, if that's even what happened. Obviously, still want to hear it myself. But could these things be connected? You know, could King Kratz have wanted to try to make Brendan's sentence less, knowing what was coming and that it might be helpful to the state? And, like, was he asking Fallon about that? You know, because of, you know, I don't know. That's complete speculation. Absolutely complete speculation. But it's just odd to me. You know? It's odd to me that, remembering how King Kratz was emailing Fallon asking about that and lessening Brendan's sentence back around that time. You know, when he was at the on bank. So, I don't know. Just another interesting thought I had, but I don't know. Like I said, it's speculation, but maybe there's something to it. All right, folks. Going to be talking about this one more for certain. Maybe might go live with Travis this weekend to talk about it a bit. But, oh, man. I don't think Sean Rech's movie is ever going to get seen now. And that's unfortunate because I still want to see it. But if he's resorted to, you know, victimizing essentially a 16-year-old kid again, yeah, I know he's not 16 years old anymore, but he hasn't been able to mature and develop in the real world since he was 16. So he's essentially 16 years old, and you went in and victimized him again? If that's the case, I don't have much faith in the fact that your movie's ever going to get out and see the light of day. But we'll see. Because I am interested in seeing it just so I can call out any of the BS that you put in it. So, all right. That's about it for this one, folks. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. And we'll see ya.